even though you're hurting. So you know that everybody is in the same situation.
Welcome to Social Kick. I'm Brian Lundquist. We got the full crew: Dr. John Mullen, Luke Paddington, and the man of many butterflies, Noe Ponti. What's going on, man? How are you?
Now, guys, thank you for having me, and yeah, all good here in Switzerland. So
Hell yeah, I love Switzerland. Beautiful country. I don't get to go there as much. I used to go there in a working life, but I know that we're excited to chat with you coming off a huge season. Luke's actually really excited to talk to you, maybe more than any guest that we've had on besides our Trinidad friends for one reason. I'll let Luke tell you what it is.
Yeah, no, it's because you. So I lived in San Francisco for a while, and there's a really good neighborhood in San Francisco called Noe Valley. And I remember being there with my wife, and we liked the name Noe. We were like, Noe, what's this word? So we wrote it down, we liked it, and we had a kid a couple of years later, and that became one of the names of my son. And next thing you know, we named my son Noe because it meant peaceful leader. And it fitted him. So my son is Noe. He got into swimming, and all of a sudden I'm seeing a Noe topping the charts in swimming. It's like, who is this other Noe out there? Is there a story behind your name? Is there a story behind? I mean, where you're from, your Italian heritage? Is there a story behind Noe and your family?
I mean, so yeah, nice to know that your son is called Noah, and yeah, I mean, my parents wanted a short name, Italian name, and in Italian we pronounce it Noè.
Noe.
And yeah, so they liked Noah as a name, and they chose it. Yeah, they didn't want to have a long name that when you write it down or so, it's too long to say yourself. So they chose Noah, and Noah. I don't know. Yeah, it's a biblic. I don't know if how you
Yep.
call it person. Yeah,
Yep.
Noah probably in
Yep.
English.
Mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, so we liked it because it meant peaceful leader. Are you a peaceful leader, or you stir shit up?
I don't know if I'm a leader, but I'm pretty peaceful, yeah. So it might be accurate, yeah.
Well, we've had some world-leading times, that's for sure. So I'll go ahead and say yes to that. But
Yeah.
well, thanks for joining us, man. We always ask our audience on Instagram at Social Kick Swim or YouTube. Follow us there. They've submitted a bunch of questions for you, and we'll start with a few of them here. One, this is from Marcos Pasevich wants to know what's your favorite Eminem song?
Eminem song, favorite. Yeah, that's a tough one. Uh, yeah, Love the Way You Lie. Yeah, Eminem, Rihanna. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, let me see. I'm gonna tell you, but yeah, probably the old Recovery album is my favorite album. Yeah, of Eminem.
There you go. All right. While we're on it, what else are you listening to? You just looked up the list. What's your most listened to artist?
Probably Eminem. Yeah.
All
Eminem,
right.
Kanye West, and
There you go.
yeah, it depends. So I listen to hip hop, and then sometimes I listen to classic music like Mozart or Bach or so, just to calm down. It depends on the mood, but let's say before a race, I mostly listen to Eminem
Yeah.
or yeah, something like that. Otherwise, I like music in general, so I go from pop to hip hop to rock and yeah uh, I don't know, from Eminem to Pink Floyd to Beatles, and yeah yeah, pretty much everything.
Well, that's good. I was writing down these questions, and sometimes we'll have ones like this, and I'm like, I hope he even likes Eminem. I have no idea if this person has any insight, or they're just this is that person's favorite artist.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
whew, glad that you had a list there.
Yeah. All right. We had a bunch of technique questions, of course, which we'll get deeper into. But this one was from G-Man Swims. Wanted to know, like, what do you do to make your arms go so quick?
I don't know. That's a good question. I just swim, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, especially in the 50 fly shorters. I don't think there are many people that take 6 strokes in the first lap, and you gotta just swim. Yeah, go make your arms go like yeah as fast as you can. It's not easy, but yeah, I think I don't know if I don't know. Probably it's pretty natural for me to do like that, and also, of course, with training and everything comes better together. But yeah, I just try to catch the water, yes, but yeah, have a high stroke rate to to go faster. That's it.
Yeah,
Something
totally.
that I'm not able to
And
do in freestyle, for example. Not yet. Yeah.
yeah. No, Luke, I'll kick it to you in a second, but I wanted to share that I, for some reason, like butterfly turnover came really naturally to me too. It was only later in my career that I realized I was good at doing that in butterfly, and then became a 22.9 long course butterflyer. And it was something to do with like that tempo. I couldn't necessarily hit it with the same strength and power in as in comparison to my freestyle. I was much better at doing a butterfly. It was just like a timing and a
Yeah.
rhythm thing. And I don't know how to describe it. It's like you just stay on top of the water like it's a skipping stone, It's
Yeah.
just pop, pop,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Go
at
ahead,
the
Luke.
same time, though, you don't have to lose like the catch, you know?
Mhm.
Because there are
Exactly.
people that then okay, they may say, okay, I'm gonna go as fast as I can. I'm gonna higher my stroke rate and everything, but then maybe you don't catch as much water as you used to. So you gotta find a balance, and that's the art thing to do. And but I think that comes along. So with training and everything, you gotta figure out what's better for you. There are people that take less strokes and people that take more strokes. I think that's pretty individual, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you could say that you were born a butterfly because on your noeponti.com blog, you talk about that you kind of learned to swim and you resemble like butterfly. The butterfly was just, I mean, people don't learn to swim by looking like a butterfly. They learn to swim looking like a frog, or something, or doggy paddle. But talk about that. Talk about how natural butterfly came to you even as a young child.
No, that's true, actually. Yeah, when I was little, like 2.5, 3 years old, we've always had a pool here by my house, and so I learned to swim here. Also, yeah, little so courses for little kids for in swimming, but yeah, I was 3 years old. You're not able to use your arms yet, probably, because yeah, you're not strong enough. But I was doing like dolphin kicks, and instead of swimming like this, I was in dolphin kicks. And that came, it was pretty natural to me. So uh, I can't really remember, but there are pictures that
Wow.
really show that. And my parents tell me, so they've always told me that my parents, my uncle, and so my family in general. And yeah, it was pretty natural to me. And also, then when I started really swimming, like competitive swimming, I was 6. Um, Butterfly has always been my favorite stroke, let's say, my best stroke. Um, I was good also in the other ones. Maybe in breaststroke, not as good as the other ones, but fly was always my best one. Yeah.
I must say most people don't like butterfly. I think it leans because they don't like training butterfly, but they like to race butterfly. I mean, I love to race butterfly, but I didn't like
Yeah.
training. Was that for you
Same,
as well?
same here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Everyone.
no. I mean, it depends. It depends what kind of training I have to do or so, but it's not always fun to swim butterfly. Maybe it's easier sometimes to swim freestyle or so. But I think in the end, if you gotta swim fast or so in training, it's gonna be hard. Freestyle, butterfly, breaststroke, it doesn't matter. If you have to go fast and you gotta you have a hard practice, it doesn't really matter what stroke you're swimming. But yeah, I get it that butterfly is probably the hardest stroke to swim. I mean, to me, it's breaststroke, but uh, yeah. So for many people, it's butterfly, and I get them, and it's not always fun to do sets in butterfly and to yeah. So it's pretty painful, but it is what it is. So if you're good at one thing, you gotta yeah
Do it.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry about the breaststroke because why go slow when you could go fast, right? But when it comes to butterfly training, I think when it comes to sprinting butterfly, you don't need to train it. You can train freestyle. But I don't think the same would be true for someone like you who is elite all the way up to the 200 butterfly down to the 50, which is still absurd to me that you're one of these elite swimmers in the swimming world today who is really good. At a much wider range. It's really uncommon for somebody to be elite from the 50-meter all the way up to the 200. But so I would imagine like you can't fake a 154, 153 long course 200 butterfly. Like you have to be able to train that. But I'm curious when it comes to your butterfly training, are you doing that? Are you training sprint butterfly, or do you kind of like leave sprint freestyle to train for the 50 butterfly, and your butterfly training is more tailored toward 100, 200?
I mean, let's say up until now, I haven't trained sprinting at all, I'd say.
Mhm.
Wow.
I've always trained for 200 or 400 meters.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've always trained quite a lot. So the trainings we do maybe aren't really common for someone that swims 50 meters. Well, I swim quite a lot, and yeah, so I've always trained for 200 or so, especially because if you wanna swim the 200, you gotta be able to swim at 200, no? And
Yeah.
not only do it once, but do it 3 times. And then you might have also 100 fly, 50 fly, and plus relays or so in a big meet. So you gotta be able to hold on. Yeah, so hold for, I don't know, 7, 8 days. And I mean, sprint butterfly always came pretty natural to me. Of course, we did some sprint trainings or so, but that's not the focus. The focus is, yeah, so we swim in the beginning of the season, so September, October, and January and February, maybe March. We do quite a lot of aerobic, so quite a lot of volume, and that's mostly freestyle. And then when it gets to, yeah, do some fast trainings or so, so some more race pace or so, yeah, I do some butterfly and individual medley, of course. And yeah, so I never really trained for sprinting, butterfly sprinting. Maybe, yeah, so it always came along, so pretty natural to me. And it might sound absurd, but yeah, it is like this. So and that's something that I'm not able to do in freestyle, not yet maybe. But so freestyle, if you look at my times or so, freestyle I've always been better in 2 and 400, in the
Mhm.
2 and 400, even though I never swam it internationally,
Mm.
I'd say. But I think I could be pretty decent in 200 and 400, but uh, I was never able to swim a 50 and 100 freestyle, for example. And yeah, it is like that. Also, backstroke. If we take backstroke, I used to swim a little bit more backstroke until, I don't know, 2019 or so. And my backstroke race was 200 backstroke, not 50 or 100. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's crazy to think about. So, but yeah, it is like that.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta cool it. You're gonna be too good at too many different things. Come on now, you can't be dominant at everything. But
No,
speaking of your
yeah.
domination with the 50 success, most notably, or it started with the World Cup here. I know you said you weren't doing much sprint training before, but did you start doing a little more leading up to the World Cups? And what was maybe an example race pace or sprint set you might do?
Um, yeah, so leading up to the World Cups, let's say that after Paris, I took a month and a half off swimming,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
zero
Nice.
swimming, and I
Wow.
started training again around the 18th or the 20th of September.
Wow.
So exactly 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month before the World Cups started, and yeah, so we didn't really train much. I did mostly Yeah, I went to practice, did 1.5 hours, yeah, swimming, mostly maybe a little bit aerobic or so, and then the week before the World Cup started, we did some broken sets. I don't know. I usually train always long course, never train short course, but we have a short course pool nearby, so I went twice a week there, and we did some broken sets, like I don't know, let's say. Uh, 75 is broken. Maybe one was 25 plus 50, one 50 plus 25, one 325s, and something like that. So all out, just to get used to the stroke count for the short course, which is pretty important. But other than that, we actually didn't do much. In fact, that's why I was pretty surprised with my times in Shanghai. So I
Yeah.
didn't expect to swim that fast already in Shanghai. So maybe, in the last World Cup, I was like, okay, that might have been possible, So after 3 weeks of racing, so you race, but then at the same time you train, and racing is like training. I might have been able to swim that, but already there with 3-4 weeks of training, it was quite impressive in my opinion. But I didn't really do much. Much sprint training or so. So yeah, that's crazy, but it is like that. Yeah.
No way. I took up 20 years off swimming. I can get back in the water for a week and I can dust these guys. So I understand the taking time off and getting into it. I get it. No. I have a question about how you dialed in your racing in the 50 fly then, based on what you just said. Because you're Swiss. Were you very precise and planned about how you were going to do each of the times you summer 50 fly, prelims and then finals, based on everything, based on how many kicks I'm doing, how many strokes I'm doing? Because you set one world record and you came out right away and you're like, I think I did 7 strokes on that one. Like you knew right away, or was it just being reaction and being your natural self?
I was just being my natural self, I think. I mean, honestly, I never count my kicks. I never did it before, and probably you know better than me how many kicks I took
Yeah.
in the 50 fly or 100 fly workouts or workshops. But I have no idea. I think it might be around 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know, but not exactly. So it's more of a feeling. So I know where to break out. Uh, and the problem is when you don't see the 15-meter mark, maybe after the turn, because not in every pool there is it. And then you're like, oh, I gotta be careful in this one because the 15-meter mark isn't there. So I know pretty much where I'm gonna break out, but you're never sure, no? So about the stroke count, I know how many stroke count I take, but still also there. In Shanghai, in the first 50 fly, so in the morning, I was going to the call room. I was like, ah. And already before I was telling my coach, I don't know if I should take 5 or 6 strokes
Hmm.
because in training when I was trying like a 25 with dive and everything, I was never able to go 6 strokes because 6 strokes you gotta really go for it and go all out. And I was always going 5 strokes, maybe a bit long, but not long enough to have a 6 strokes. And then I just went for it, and I did 6 strokes. So now I know that in my 50 butterfly short course, I'm gonna go 6 and 6 if it's a perfect race. And but yeah, for instance, for example, in Singapore, I went 6 and 7 when I went to a world record again.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
went 21:50, if I'm not mistaken. But there, it's also because there wasn't the 15-meter mark
Oh.
after the turn. So I think I was a bit more careful in the second underwater to not really, yeah, I didn't wanna fuck it up. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you on that one. I going to 15 off of feel versus any like counting or anything. But I'm curious, when's the last time you got disqualified? And have you gone past 15 before and been called for it?
Never, no, never past
Yeah.
15. I don't know when's the last time I got disqualified. I DQ'd a relay maybe in 2021 at World Champs Abu Dhabi, but that's it. Never gone past 15. I got really
It's a tricky
close a
thing.
couple of times, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a tricky thing to be able to nail it, and the stakes are high, and you can watch the video of your races all throughout the last season and see that you're like pushing it right to 15 meters and nailing it. So I mean, that's
Yeah,
something that like
yeah.
repetition in swimming helps a lot with, but at the same time it's like, I don't think we talk about it enough that there's there is some risk involved to it, and going off of feel. It's not a perfect science, and it is hard to do.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't think it's easy. I think it's hard to do, yes. And you know, so many times, so many swimmers always come up to me and they ask me, man, uh, how many kicks are you taking, or how many strokes, blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know how many kicks I take. And they go, oh, how is that? How is that even possible? You're swimming a world record in the 50 fly, and you don't know how many kicks you're taking. So for many people, it's like mind blowing, and to me, it's like I don't know. I guess it is like that, and maybe also because every time I have a hard set in butterfly, so in training, I always push my underwater up to 15 meter, and maybe also I saw 12, 13, 14, 15 meters right there, and maybe doing that over and over again, maybe you get also used to it. You know pretty much where to break out, and yeah, but also one tricky thing is also the depth of the pool. So sometimes the pool is pretty shallow, sometimes it's 3 meters deep, and if it's 3 meters deep, you need a couple of days to get used to it, no? Where to break out or so, because it's not the same thing, but yeah.
Chad Leclerc, one of the other most natural talented butterflies of all time, also said he has no idea what his kick count is or his stroke count. He just races. Which is
Yeah.
interesting. About when you go out in your 50 fly, you're at the 25. You touch with the guys. The guys are with you. But what goes through your head on that turn and that underwater? Because when you pop up at coming home, the guys are not with you. What goes through your head? What are you doing?
It's just a kick as fast as possible. That's it. No, yeah, no, that's actually it. And yeah, I know that many guys are fast the first 25, and many guys have a very good start, but I also know that in the second 25, I maybe not the best one. I wasn't the best one in Budapest, but I'm one of the best ones, and especially underwater, I know that I'm better than most of the guys. So I just try to go as fast as I can underwater, and then take it home. And also, and that's always been the case also for even 50 and 100 long course. I've always been better in the second part of the race, and the first part I've always been a bit less good than the second part. Also, if you take my 100 fly long course, it's always there the case, 26.3 coming home. So I know that I'm good in the second part of the race, so I try to do as good as I can the first 25, for example, and then second 25 just go for it, like underwater, push it as much as you can, because in the end it's only if it's only 50, you're not gonna feel it. And so I think in Budapest I had 4 or 5 lactate, so that's nothing after. That's something. I
Yeah.
think I could have gone not 21.4 or 21.3 or 21.5 again, but probably 22.0 not right after, but a couple of minutes after I would have done it, probably. Yeah.
Man, that'd be wild. Well, maybe there's a chance that we'll be able to see you do repeat 50 butterflies then, so we can find out. Um, the you made this face a second ago when you were answering the question, and for anybody who's listening, you were kind of like clenching your teeth, and you can see in the video of your hunter fly at Short Course Worlds in the final, the last 25, they got an underwater shot of you, and like it's when you watch these races, especially somebody like as smooth and butterfly as you are, it, and when you're breaking a world record, it can seem like it's so fast, it's so smooth, you barely ever look like you're hurting, but you do see footage of you clenching your teeth, just in those last few kicks to push to 15 meters off the last wall. There's a broken world record. And I think it's kind of interesting just to see that, it does hurt, even though it may look like easy. You're definitely in pain. We get to see that in track and field. We get to see other sports where you see people's faces in the moment and they're, oh, but you don't get to see that in swimming as much. And I thought it was just a cool moment to see that, like, oh man, he's gritting his teeth and he's getting after it. And that's what it takes.
Yeah, I think so. So I think if you're gonna like really push a race, like swim fast and really try it, it's never gonna be easy. It's never not gonna be painful, you know? It's never gonna not gonna hurt. And so if it's gonna hurt, so you know it's gonna hurt. Especially maybe on the 50 it's a bit different, but 100 or 200, you know you're gonna be and get to the end that you're hurting. But the thing is that even though you're hurting, so you know that everybody is in the same situation. So you gotta be hurting less than the others, or you gotta die after the others or less. And yeah, so it, in the end, pain it's simply your head that is telling you that. So look, you're getting to the limit. You're getting tired, but you're not there quite yet, you know? And so you're just gonna tell yourself to keep going. And so that's something I can do in the 100, maybe. In the 200, I struggle a little bit more in doing that, because in the 200 it's gonna hurt even more. But yeah, so I think everybody hurt, even though it doesn't look like that sometimes, even though there are some guys that are really smooth in swimming. Take for example, so Popovic. It always looks that like he's swimming easy, but I'm sure that he's hurting as well. Or Léon Marchand, for example, for sure he's going. So I don't think at 4 a.m. can be easy, but it looks like that. Yeah.
So you took chunks off that 50 fly record, I think over 3/10 total. And then also, other flyers were also going right around that world record cut time. So you're being pushed by Nils and then Ilya at World Champs. Why has the 50 fly short course meters gotten so much faster?
Good question. I don't know. Yeah, so it has taken quite a while to get under the 21.7, I think. So it was 21.7 already cup in 2014, I think. And then already when Santos was swimming 21.75, and then Sabo as well, I was like, damn, that's fast. That's fast. And then I went 21.79, I think, last year. Yeah. So in 2023. And then I started thinking about that war record. And yeah, I think as soon as I broke it, everybody started swimming faster. So it felt like that. So maybe we needed someone that would break the world record to show that it was actually possible. And then yeah, so when you see someone that goes as fast, you never want to stay behind. So you're gonna surpass your limits and go even faster. And that's I think the case with the other guys, with Niels, with Ilya. I mean, those guys were moving, and also for me. So you see them coming. I gotta do something, because maybe 21.5 it's not gonna be enough. So you always have to do the perfect race to take it on. And but that's the beauty of our sport. So records are meant to be broken, I think, and it's good that there are so many guys that are close to these records, and that are so it helps us ourselves to push ourselves to the limits, I think, and that's nice, I think.
Well, I mean, you definitely did that with Caeleb Fly. So first of all, kudos for that. What a legend, and you're now the legend. But another legend, and one of the most natural swimmers again, Alexander Popov. 30 years ago, he was swimming 100 free short course meters in a 47 high. He took that world record down on the World Cup circuit by almost a second over 3 months in the World Cup circuit. But there was a time he went 47.8 in 100 free short course meters. Your fly is faster than Alexander Popov was 30 years ago. I mean, he eventually took it down to 46.9, but he was going high 47s for 100 free.
With zero underwater.
With zero underwater in a breathe.
Negative underwater.
Yeah, but you can tell that he obviously said, okay, let's go short course meters. Let's see where we can take this world record. And he started like dialing it in. And once he got down to 46s, and others eventually started getting down there. So talk about your 100 fly. I mean, that 47, dude. I mean, how unexpected was that for you? How crazy was that for you? Or were you guys like, yeah, I know I'm a 50.1 guy. Why can't I go 48? 47.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't know about Alexander Popov that he used to go that time. That's nice. No, yeah, I think the 100 butterfly to me meant more than the 50 fly world record, for sure. And to me, it's more impressive than the 50 fly. I mean, 21.3, it's quite impressive, but when first Caeleb went 47.7, yeah, 47.7 back in 2020 at the ISL, I was like, wow, that's crazy, because Chad's 48.0 was out of this world, I think, and then 47.7, I was like, oh, that's quick. That's quick. I don't know if I'll ever be able to go that time, and so, and yeah, so I knew that I was in a quite in a good shape world champs, but yeah, I just tried to take it out fast, because having a 21.3 personal best in the 50 fly, that means that you gotta go out faster than 22.8, 22.9 when I went 48.4. So I just went for it, and 22.16 the first 50, and then the choses sont fait. So it was done. I did it, I think. So crazy. When I touched the wall, I looked up. I was like,
What the
wow.
hell?
So I really did it, no? And that's really crazy to me. So maybe, yeah, not so much faster in Calais, but still faster. And 47.7, that's nice. So that's a good starting point, I'd say. And that's really fast, in my opinion. And yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not just your opinion, it's the fastest ever. So it is
Everyone's
objectively
opinion.
very fast. You said something about the kind of shock that you see whenever someone goes the fastest time ever, world record. Oftentimes the reaction that we have is, whoa, especially if you swim that race and you compete in that race, and maybe you're not at that point in your career yet where you can relate to the ability to do that. And then there's something that happens over time as you continue to train and progress in sport, is that like unrealistic thing eventually becomes more and more realistic. You get a little bit closer to it. And so I'm curious about like your approach, even on a season basis. Do you set goals? Do you set specific goals? Was there something that, or do you kind of like to be limitless in your approach to just see what's possible for you?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have some goals or so that I want to achieve, or so. Maybe in terms of medals or or times, but I don't really set I don't really tell myself, okay, in that race I want to go at that time, there I want to go that, because I don't know if it's really good to myself to really set that limit, because if I'm gonna tell myself, okay, I want to get a medal there, then so no, so you should be going there to win it, and that's it. So if you're gonna win it, you're gonna swim fast eventually. And so it's of course I have goals, so big goals, but I think it's important to dream big. So uh, I think at our level, I'm not only talking about me, I'm talking for everybody. I think you kind of have to be like limitless, no? You gotta dream big. You gotta dream about going fast, super fast, and not. I'm not gonna tell myself I want to go uh, 49 44 long course. No, so that's not the case. I just have to go there, swim fast, and hopefully I'm gonna go such time. But yeah, so that might be a goal, but I'm in the end I'm there to swim fast and to to go fast. So yeah, it's actually a good question. So not easy to really answer that, but I don't know if it made sense what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of segues to what you have on your Instagram, and I want you to talk more about it. If you don't succeed, what do you do?
I have a cup of tea. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you don't succeed, you gotta keep going. You never, so you're not always gonna win, and nobody is always gonna win. It's always been the case in sport. So Phelps didn't always win. Roger Federer. So if we're talking about a Swiss uh, legend, he didn't always win. He had a 20-year-old career, and how many times did he lose? So how many times did he come to the final of a Grand Slam and he lost against Nadal or Djokovic? So you're never always going to win, but important is that you lose, you learn, and then you get up and you go forward. You look forward and you move forward. Yeah, and yeah, so in my career, so maybe it's not been the longest one for now, but so I did a couple of meets. I didn't always win. So most of the times I lost. So and so I lost also badly sometimes, but I think I was always able to kind of get up and learn from my mistakes and go forward. So I think that pretty much it means that. So and that's important. It's important to not get stuck in that cycle where you start telling yourself, "Oh, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to do that again." Blah blah blah. Let's take for example Fukuoka 2023. I was
Yeah.
playing there as a potential medalist. I missed two finals out of three, and I got seventh or eighth in the 100 fly. So and the Paris, for example, I was going there. I was going for two medals, and in on fly, so I was one of the potential gold medal winners,
Mhm.
and I got on with a fourth and a fifth place.
Mhm.
So I don't think there is a worse thing than getting fourth at the Olympics, and but that happened. So what you gonna do? You gonna quit swimming after that? No. So I took a break and I yeah,
Yeah.
I had time to think, to talk to my with my coaches, with my closest ones, and then when it was time to go again, I tried to be the best version of myself. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's never easy, but it is like that. So sadly, that's sadly or luckily that's sport, but that's life. So it's not only in sport that it is like that. So I think in life, uh, how many times you fall, and then how many times you have to get up. So yeah.
No, I think that's a great mantra, and obviously one everyone can relate to, and every coach is going to be sharing that quote, I think, right there, because things don't always go to plan, but you still have to get back to practice. And we had a lot of audience questions about what you're doing in practice and technique and drills. So we're gonna hit a few of these off here. So Jose Ramon 139 wants to know, what is the best drill to get better at underwaters? Because I think you blew everyone's mind away with your, like Brian said, your turn, and even in the 100 IM coming on that last freestyle leg, you're underwaters.
Yeah, best drill for underwater. Good question. No, actually, we do underwaters. Usually at the end of the training, we always do some, for example, 1625s underwaters with fins, and that's pretty much what we do for underwater. So, yeah, of course, when you're doing hard sets or even aerobic set, you're gonna try to do a couple of kicks at least, where you do butterfly kick, dolphin kicks underwater. But then that's it. At the end, in the end of the training, we do some underwater, but not really not really drills about kicking or underwater kicking. We do that, and maybe some with the arms up, arms down. Yeah, and just try to be as uh, so do as the biggest kicks as possible sometimes, and be as flexible as possible in your core, and that's I think the key. So the dolphin kicks doesn't come from your legs only, it comes from your core, and how flexible you are also. And if you're able to manage that, then of course legs are important, but not as important as your core, I think. And
Mm.
we work quite a lot on our core, also out of the water, for sure. And I'm also lucky to be very flexible,
Mm.
very mobile. So I can do, for example, a split. I don't think that everybody can do a split without training it. So I can do that. So I'm pretty flexible, and uh, so yeah. So because also if you only focus on your kicks and so on your legs, you're never gonna get to 100 meters if you only use your legs. So you gotta start your movement from your core, and then the legs are just supporting it, and yeah, they're gonna make you go faster. But I think it is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now most people would agree like you and Crooks are the best at underwaters, and Crooks has like a huge amplitude where you're a little tighter, it looks, for your
Yep.
dolphin kicks.
Yep.
Any recommendations on how a swimmer can find like the right amplitude for them? Because obviously different things can work for different people, as you two were showing us.
Yeah. So that's that's a good question. Yeah, Crooks, I mean, is for sure more powerful than me, and is stronger than me. So that's also why probably takes less kicks also underwater than me.
Mm.
And yeah, so I think you gotta try and see what's the best for you. It doesn't mean that if Crooks does something, or Dressels does something, uh, and you do that, then you're gonna succeed. So I think you gotta find what's best for you and what's best for your characteristics. So we're all different, and we're all different swimmers. So I don't think there is a book that rules that you can follow for if we're talking about like technique or so. Everybody has his own technique, but of course you can get better at something, but you shouldn't. If I'm doing underwards like I'm doing now, uh I don't think I should be trying to do what Crooks is doing. So probably if I would do what Jordan is doing, I would be much slower. So just try. I mean, training also, we train also because we try things, and we see if we get better at those things, then we gotta keep doing those. We gotta keep doing it like that. Otherwise, you get back to where you were before, you know. And another thing, I think it's important to work on your strength more than work on your weaknesses, because Of course, you gotta maybe adjust your weaknesses, but if you're good at hunting, then you should get better and better in that, because you're good at it. Why not being the best at it and maybe only average at other things? But yeah.
Yeah, right on. That's great butterfly advice. And swimming advice in general, but I wanted to shout out someone who asked us a question on Instagram at Social Kick Swim, with a story. So for somebody who's really good at staying underwater on butterfly, when I was swimming, we used to joke around in our training group and say, like, the secret to staying underwater is to squeeze your butt cheeks. Anytime that you were like doing underwater sets or underwater 25s, 50s, etc., would be like, come on, dude, just squeeze your butt cheeks. That's what you got to do to stay under. And we actually had a question submitted by someone named Constipation Master who wanted to know how do you just advice on butterfly in general, which you've already given plenty of advice on butterfly, especially with it being, so individual to the person, and of course the pain that it needs to hurt. So I just wanted to shout out that person. So thanks for the question. And then we can talk about training though, John, if you want to ask.
Yeah, I was curious what your strength training looks like. Obviously, with all of us from the States, we follow yards, and it seems like for the 50 specialists, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and spending more and more time in the gym. But I'd love to hear what you're doing in the gym.
Yeah, so I train. Let's. So I'll tell you how many times I train a week. So it's 9, 10. So it should be 10, but many times it's 9. Practice in the water. So about 2 hours when we are really training good, and then 4 times out of the water. So usually it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And two of those sessions are one. So let's say lifting.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, lifting. An hour, around an hour, but we don't really lift heavy. So and yeah, we don't actually lift heavy. So we get up to 70% of our max, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, just very normal gym, so lifting exercises, nothing really crazy, nothing really special if we're talking about lifting. So I think there are people that lift way more than me, and for example, in the US, so I was at NC State for 6 weeks, and they were lifting way more than what I'm used to. So yeah, so in the past years, maybe I started lifting a little bit more, but nothing crazy. Just the goal is to get stronger without getting bigger or too big, let's say, because I'm pretty skinny. I'm not a big guy, and if I would get much bigger, maybe it would have a bad influence on my swim. So if I would gain 5 kilos of muscles, maybe I wouldn't float that well in the water or so anymore. So that's something. So that's what we do, and plus we do twice a week. Twice. I do once Pilates reformer. I started doing it in September, and it really helped, and it's really good. So I could see that it's very, so you train core mostly maybe, but the whole body, and you get stronger. You really get stronger also in the gym. I could see when I was lifting that I could lift much heavier, even though I didn't lift that much before. So Pilates really helps to build your strength. So core strength, legs, arms, pretty much everything, and it also helps you to yeah to to get also maybe more flexible or so, of course. And then another thing we do is we have athletic coach is from Rome. So my two coaches, swim coaches, they're from Rome, so Italian.
Wow.
And our athletic coach, he comes maybe once a month, and then that week we pretty much only do that. And then otherwise we do it only once or twice a week. He's a artistic gymnastic coach. So we do the basic things that an
Wow.
artistic gymnastic artistic athlete, I don't know how you call it, would do. So we really work on our core. We do lots of stretching, like a lot with him. Maybe let's say when he comes, we do 1.5 hours in the afternoon, an hour in the morning, but 1.5 hours in the afternoon. So it's, I don't know, it's gonna be 30 minutes only stretching, and then some core activations or so, and then we start doing other things that maybe, yeah. So the people that do artistic gymnastics do, but maybe basic, but that really helps you. It helps you getting stronger with your core, getting more flexible. At least for me, it's good, and I think Japanese swimmers do that as well, or divers. They do this a lot. So yeah, so it's not a lot of people do that, and maybe I'm not the best person to talk about it specifically, but it's actually really good, and I've been doing this since 2019, and of course, it's each time maybe you do something more or so, but yeah, it helps to control your body better, and also it helps you to get stronger, but without gaining muscle. So and that's the goal, for example, for me. But then if we're talking about someone that only swims 50 freestyle, and they have a different body, of course they're going to do something different, maybe also in the gym. But that's pretty much what we do as a group. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking about reformer Pilates, and I couldn't help but think how that's probably benefiting your dating life too. We had an audience question from Zach Durkop, who wanted to know, how does it feel to be the most attractive butterflier? So maybe if you want to answer that question.
Feels good. No.
I don't know what Dylan Carter would say about that. Dylan may argue.
Yeah, he might. No, let's say, yeah, I can't complain about it. Yeah.
Moving on, go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's talk about having fun on the World Cup circuit then for that. I remember doing a photo shoot a long time ago, and the photographer asked me to do a flip turn but he wanted me to flip the other direction because of the light or angle, and I literally couldn't flip and push off the wall the other way. You know, you did it 10 million times, but you flipped the other way. I couldn't do it. And I remember you commented on a reel that we did about your 100 IM turn against Leon. You just did a hand touch because you happened to touch with the wrong hand, and you just haven't done that. Talk to me about what the 100 IM was like racing Leon on that circuit. You both took some time off after the Olympics. You both were coming back. Were you just having fun and playing around and it's racing, and that was the fun of it?
No, yeah, it was no. Honestly, the World Cups, I think I had probably the most fun I've ever had in swimming. Let's say so. It was 3 weeks of racing, yes, but you know you're there with the other guys, other swimmers, for 3 weeks. You're hanging around with them. You're going out for dinner or so, and so many friends of mine. So I had friends there, for example. So I'm very good friends with Italians, and also a good friend of mine from Switzerland was there. Leon was there, so Duncan Scott. So we were very having lots of fun, and you know, you go there, you got 3-4 days where you train, and you chill, and then you have 3 days of racing, and you you don't have pressure at all, because it's a World Cup, it's the first race of the season, competition of the season. So yeah, hopefully it's gonna go well. If it doesn't, it is what it is. It's the beginning of the season, and also so mentally you're stronger. So mentally, you're not at you, you're able to do much more than maybe at the Olympics because you don't have that pressure that really makes you tense and everything. And racing those guys was really, really, really fun. So Leon, for example, under IM, yeah, it was every time it was a different race, but it was really, really nice. Maybe if I would learn to do that flip turn. I would have a chance to to beat him, but it was good at that. So I'm not able to do that. So um, I don't know. It was fun. It was fun to race against him, against Thomas, against Duncan, all those times, and uh, yeah. So we were just having fun. So there wasn't that like in the core room. You didn't go in the core room and. Where everybody was like so focused on the race, so tense about their race coming up. We were talking, we were just hanging out, and yeah, then it was time to race again. But it's not that if you're gonna beat him, he's gonna be mad at you. No, so it was really fun. And then after each World Cup, so the last night of each World Cup, we were going out and having fun. So it was a very good 3 weeks, and I had the chance to get to know many guys, many swimmers, and we had yeah, so a very good time.
Show us that plaque because you also got paid to have fun. Show us that thing on the side there.
This one,
Yeah, the second overall. Yeah,
yeah,
that was one of the many you got.
yeah, that's one of the ones I got, but I think that's the only one I got to keep. So yeah.
Never using the world record one.
No, it's yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh man! All right, Noe, we just got a few rapid fire questions. What's the hardest race in swimming?
Uh, that's tough one. I think either 2 fly or 4 a.m. I mean, if we talking about hurting, about how you have to swim it or so, it's the 23 in my opinion.
Ooh.
So to learn how to swim it, to really do it well, 2 free is really hard to understand it. But if we're talking about pain, 2 fly and 4 a.m. and 2 breast are probably the most painful one.
We've asked that question
Yep.
235 times, and that's the best explanation of the hardest differentiation. So sorry to interrupt. Good job.
Like, I want to know his 200 breast time. You have a 200 breast time?
I don't know. Probably I don't know when I did it. Maybe short course 217, 218, 218 in 2019, and long course probably 228 my best time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, not great.
I don't
Let's say.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Swim Cloud doesn't even have you for one for the 200 long course, but you're right, 217 short course. I don't know, too long. Breaststroke takes forever. That's why we don't want to do
Yeah.
it. All right, Olympic gold or world record?
Olympic gold. All the way.
In which
Yeah.
event? Butterfly?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you could only keep 3 apps on your phone and all the rest have to be deleted, which 3 apps are you keeping?
Like Google, Instagram. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know. Probably. I don't know. Another social. WhatsApp or something. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That was a tough decision. Do you pee in the pool?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Many times.
What?
Multiple times a day.
Mate. What's the best race that you've ever seen in person?
Sorry?
What's the best race that you've ever watched live in person that you've been there to watch it?
2 a.m. 2012 London Olympics. Phelps against Lochte. Yeah.
I don't
You
think we've
remember?
heard that one before. Okay.
I mean,
All right, and then the last.
I could say all of the Paris Olympics or Lyon World Records, but going to see your idols and everything and see them battling and see Phelps win it and missing the world record by just
Mhm.
2/10 or so. It was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just to hit on that Leon one, what do you think was the most impressive performance of his from Paris? Which event?
From Paris, the double to fly to first, for sure.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah, that was
He-
wild.
His
Totally.
best performance ever, probably the 4 a.m.
Yeah,
In Fukuoka, but
yeah,
to fly to Brest double was mind blowing, really. Yeah.
yeah, totally. All right, man. The last one that we always ask, near and dear to our hearts, is how often are you doing social kick and training?
Pretty much every day. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
That's the
saying.
Swiss.
Yeah. I mean, when we get to kick, we talk to each other, and then yeah, maybe the coach might get mad at us sometimes, but usually we can at least talk a little bit. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Gotta
every
have
day.
it. Hell yeah. Well, thanks for talking a little bit with us today. Super fun to get to
Thank you
chat
for
with you,
having me.
man. What an awesome season. Thanks for showing us like what's possible, and for also letting us know that that's the way you think about it. Is don't set limits, and that's what brings new possibilities. So, cheers.
Cool.
Thanks for spending the time with us, man. It's a
Thank you,
pleasure.
guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, that's it for Noe Ponti in this episode of Social Kick. We'll see you next time.
Hey everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this episode of Social Kick and you'd like to see more, subscribe to the channel. And we love talking swimming and we'd love to talk about swimming with you. So leave us a comment and we'll see you next time.